Vacuoles. Inside a cell, there are very many types of vacuoles and vesicles that act as storage structures for various products needed by the cell. In a wastewater treatment plant, the waste treatment ponds act similarly to the vacuoles. Here, raw or partially treated sewage or waste is stored where it stabilizes for further use later on in the treatment. Like the vacuoles, there are various types of treatment ponds like stabilization, oxidation, and polishing ponds. Vacuoles.
Centrioles. Centrioles are found only in animal cells as a component of the cytoskeleton. It's composed of a set of triplet microtubules arranged in a ring pattern. Before a cell divides, the centrioles replicate. In the water plant, the way the water is divided by the V-notch weirs is similar to centrioles. The V-notch weirs allows the dirty water to remain in the tank or container it's in as clean water moves on. This division of water is similar to the cell division the centrioles take part in. Like the centrioles, the V-notch weir is not needed in all water plants and could be replaced by other separating mechanisms. These V-notch weirs are used in several places throughout the water plant to keep the water process moving and separating like it's supposed to. Cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is a network of fibers extending throughout the cytoplasm that plays a major role in organizing the structure and activities of the cell. The cytoskeleton is composed of three types of molecular structures: microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. More importantly in animal cells than in plants, the cytoskeleton gives mechanical support to the cell to maintain its shape. In the water plant, the water company workers themselves act as the cytoskeleton. They are truly the backbone that keep everything in place. Like the three molecular structures, there are different types of jobs and responsibilities each person must do. Plasma cell membrane. The plasma cell membrane is what holds the cell together as the boundary of the cell. It has a selective barrier regulating the cell's chemical composition of what can pass and what cannot. The plasma cell membrane separates the interior of the cell from the outside environment. In the water plant, there are various screenings the water sludge goes through to enter or exit the plant. It acts as a filter to stop larger solid contents from getting completely through into the plant and looks for metal waste products that Toyota could have wrongly disposed of. The screen is like the plasma cell membrane because they both are barriers to what can or cannot enter the cell or plant. Water also must go through the same screening process as it leaves the plant.
Nucleolus. The next organelle is located within the nucleus, and it's the darker region. The nucleolus is where stored energy is, but not necessarily in use. It's also the site of RNA synthesis, where a cheap, disposable copy of DNA is made. In the water plant, the backup generator is similar to the nucleolus. The backup generator creates electricity to power some small parts of the plant that are necessary all the time for the plant to function, when the electricity room isn't producing enough. This cheap energy source isn't enough to take the place as the electricity room, but it's similar to how RNA can partly function as DNA to some extent. In the plant, the generator can only be used as a temporary energy, similar to how RNA can only act as some functions of DNA, like providing the genetic coding for ribosomes. Nucleus. The nucleus controls the activities of a cell by holding the DNA. It is the central core that affects all other cellular activities because the DNA can be decoded to proteins of various functions. The nucleus of this water plant is the electricity control room. It's the source of power that leads to other functions throughout the plant. In different types of cells like prokaryotes, there is no nucleus, but in other water plants, they have to have an electricity room, so this cell is more like a eukaryote cell because it has to have a nucleus to function. This electricity room controls the entire plant and has the instructions to all equipment and access to them. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. This is similar to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, except that it does not have ribosomes. This organelle helps with the synthesis of lipids, phospholipids, and steroids, as well as carbohydrate breakdown and blood detoxification. The water with only chemical oxidation used to remove organic matter does not have the capability for respiration synthesis, but it does contribute to the conversion of CO2 and H2O to energy. Similarly to how the smooth ER detoxifies the blood, the water with chemical oxidation helps purify water. It also breaks down sludge, like the smooth ER breaks down carbohydrates. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. This organelle is small tubes composed in a network with ribosomes bound to help contribute with protein synthesis. The endoplasmic reticulum has many functions, but what makes the rough ER different from the smooth ER is the ribosomes. This is like the microorganisms in water. The microorganisms are in parts of the water to help in the purification process, and synthesis, respiration, which is similar to protein synthesis. The water with the main microorganisms provides a safe place for them to live and proceed in synthesis respiration, similar to how the rough ER provides a place for proteins to fold and become functionable. The microorganisms are constantly doing various functions like the ER.
Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus helps package the protein in membrane-bound vesicles before the vesicles are sent to the next destination. It also modifies proteins by attaching sugars called glycoproteins to them to create a chemical label. In the water plant, the UV light is like the Golgi because it scans over the water to modify it and make sure it's clean enough to move outside the plant. It also kills certain bacteria, which can later be used to detect which water has passed through the UV lighting and which water has not. In the video, the green light is the UV, and after the water is passed, it is pushed on to other areas in the plant. Mitochondria. In a cell, the powerhouse is known as the mitochondria. They are found in plant and animal cells and are the center of respiration as well as release energy for cell functions. Mitochondria are small and move freely throughout the cell to keep the cell full of energy. In this wastewater treatment plant, the pumps act like mitochondria, providing energy needed for water and sludge to move. Pumps can't move freely, but they are located in most areas of the plant because water needs the energy to help it move along in the process. The pumps keep everything moving like mitochondria keeps the cell functioning.
Chloroplast. Chloroplast is found only in plants and algae and is the site of photosynthesis. This organelle converts solar energy to chemical energy by absorbing sunlight and using it for synthesis of organic compounds the plant cell needs. In a water plant, the solar panels are similar to chloroplasts. Not all water plants use solar panels. Some just use electricity for their energy source. Like animal cells, who eat to get energy, the water plants, who use only electricity, have to get their energy that way. In solar panel plants, they are capable of getting energy from the sun and don't need as much electricity.
Lysosomes. Next we have the lysosomes, which are involved in digestion and recycling of molecules and are full of enzymes. In this wastewater treatment plant, this grit pump acts as the cell's lysosomes. It breaks down solids that pass through the screening process so water can be processed further into the plant. Both the lysosomes organelle and the grit pump's main job is to break down larger substances.